나처럼 groovy하게 나처럼 groovy하게.
September has definitely been my favorite month for comebacks this year so far. I don't know what happened this month, but I feel like for some reason every K-pop artist who I've heard of at least has released good music. As always, everything I'm mentioning here is just my opinion. You're free to disagree, but please do so respectfully. Also, if there's a release I didn't mention that you want to hear my opinion on, I will try my best to respond. Let's get started. I'm honestly struggling to come up with words to truly encapsulate my feelings about this comeback. It's rare that a single release will completely change my perception of a group, but A.C.E has managed to obliterate my stan list with this release. There are so many things I want to talk about with this comeback, so let's break it down into layers. From a surface level analysis, the song itself is fantastic on its own. Listening to it feels electric and makes me feel like I can conquer the world. And I appreciate the fact that it manages to build excitement without relying on a headache-inducing drop. My favorite parts are Pyeongkwan's rap in the second verse. His sense of rhythm is amazing, plus of course Jun's high note at the end. Going a bit more in depth though, let's bring in the styling. The song itself is quite intense, with the lyrics discussing the establishment of dominance, yet instead of going for a stereotypically masculine look, they're seen incorporating traditionally feminine styling elements to do this, including rosy makeup, heavy jewelry, and silky clothing. This, combined with the lyrics, sends the message that masculinity isn't defined by your appearance, but rather depends on your sense of self-confidence and commitment to sticking to your sense of individuality in the face of opposition. I think it's a fantastic message to be sharing to young men. I feel like society places so much pressure on guys to stifle their sense of self-expression because deviating from these conventional appearances is viewed as sacrificing power. Delving even further, this concept is incredibly unique, and I love how they incorporate it into each element of this comeback. There's a video on DKDK TV's channel which explains their concept far better than I could, and I highly recommend checking it out. But the video and the lyrics draw heavy inspiration from traditional Eastern literature and portrays each of the members as a mystical figure, hence the Korean title Goblin. Now, I don't really know that much about East Asian culture, but I think it's really cool that they incorporated elements of their culture in a way that's still very palatable to international audiences. The members have also stated that this video is part of a larger storyline they've been following since before their debut, so if any of you guys know any fan theories that break down their universe, please let me know. This attention to detail is also shown in the choreography. The members explained in an interview how the moves were meant to emulate the traditional Korean goblin by making it seem like they were wrestling. And this attention to detail isn't just limited to the video like a lot of groups do. Every single live stage incorporates this concept, from the sets to the styling. The members did a phenomenal job of channeling the sense of power. Each performance was absolutely mesmerizing to watch. I almost never watch all the live stages for groups, even when it comes to my alts, unless if I really love an era, but for this you can bet I was keeping track of every appearance because, as they said, I couldn't get enough. The one complaint I had about this comeback was that I felt like the music video could have been grander, but I feel like that was more due to a lack of a big budget. I also think it would have been better without so much strobe lighting, or at least it would have been nice if they included a warning about it. But I really think that the other aspects of this comeback compensate for this, and I truly think you need to watch the live stages for the song in particular. I could go on and on about how much I love this comeback, but we have other things to talk about, so to wrap this up, I'm just gonna say if there's any of my recommendations that I want you to listen to, this is the one. This has been, without a doubt, the best comeback of the year, and you are only doing yourself a disservice if you don't check out this masterpiece. Helicopter, while far from being their best comeback, solidifies CLC as my current favorite girl crush group in K-pop. To me, girl crush is at its best when it's used as a form of empowerment, and building onto the themes established in songs like No and Me, CLC continues to propel this message of staying confident and reaching your dreams despite self-doubt. I appreciate the fact that they've avoided the whole "I'm so badass, you'll never be as cool as me" aspects of Girl Crush and instead created songs reaffirming that there's room for everyone at the top. The live stages for this era have been some of their best. I feel like the members have truly found a sense of newfound confidence during this promotional period, especially with Yeon after Good Girl. The thing I was disappointed with had less to do with the members and more to do with Cube Entertainment. When I saw the video for the first time, I thought it was really impressive, but the more I kept watching it, the more I realized how simple it was. For the group shots, they were pretty much just reusing the same 2 sets, which led to a lot of the shots looking kind of repetitive. I feel like this video would have been impressive if CLC was from a small company, but I know Cube has the money to invest more than this. Also, why is this only a single? I've heard some people say that this is Cube's way of testing CLC's profitability, but it's been 5 years since they debuted, and they have yet to release a full album. I don't understand why K-pop companies expect to see their groups rise in popularity when they aren't willing to invest in them properly in the first place. Their last 2 releases were singles as well, so they've had plenty of time to figure out what direction the group should go in next. I think the chorus of Helicopter lacked a certain sense of memorability that some of their other title tracks had as well. The more I've listened to it, the more it sounds to me like a B-side by their own standards. I still enjoy listening to Helicopter, but I don't go out of my way to listen to it that much anymore, and I think part of the reason for that is because this era should have been grander. Backdoor is probably my favorite Stray Kids title track since 2018. The reason why I think the song is great is because it's punchy and infectious in the places where it needs to be, but it isn't as overwhelming as some of their other title tracks. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a fan of God's Menu. The excessive autotune and blaring trap beats just made me feel like there was too much happening at once for me to get into the song. But Backdoor is able to keep that hard-hitting essence which defines Stray Kids' sound while dialing it back a bit. Both title tracks evoke this sense of rebellion, but in very different ways. I'm going to compare the 2 to movies to illustrate this. God's Menu is your standard action movie. It represents the peak of conflict where all hell breaks loose and the protagonists engage in a physical fight to dismantle whatever system is holding them down. But Backdoor reminds me of something more along the lines of a heist movie. Everything seems calm from the outside, but when you look beneath the surface, you can get the sense of organized chaos happening as the system is being dismantled right under everyone's noses. There's this hidden sense of darkness to it. The bass line gives the song a sort of classy feel, but it's the tone of their voices which evoke that repressed sense of anger and angst. I think it's the perfect song to introduce a repackaged album with. The song itself feels very much like a continuation to God's Menu, and it's very obvious from the way that the video was shot and edited that the style was supposed to emulate their previous title track. I haven't listened to the repackaged album all that much, but I definitely like the songs better than the B-sides from their last album. Overall, I think this was a fantastic follow-up to their last release, and their win for the song was definitely well-deserved. One of the reasons why I felt hesitant to stan the Boyz is because I felt like I didn't really know what made them stand out as artists. I think their music has always been good, but it's nothing groundbreaking. And when it comes to their image and concept, there just wasn't really anything that stood out to me, or think, this is a song that I could only picture the Boyz doing, no other group could pull this concept off better than them. But then Road to Kingdom happened, and I finally felt like I could see what made this group special. It's their theatricality and dedication to putting on incredible performances which truly makes them shine. So I was really curious to see what sort of comeback they would come up with to follow up their incredible run in the series with. But unfortunately, I feel like the Stealer fell into the same issues that I had with the Boyz before Road to Kingdom. The highlight of this comeback is the choreography for sure. I do feel like they've been pushing themselves in that aspect because of Road to Kingdom. I feel like the concept wasn't a perfect match for them though. I think they're capable of expressing themselves so much more through performances than what they've shown here, and their concept is what's limiting their ability to express this. Maybe I'm being overly critical, but the unfortunate reality is that the K-pop industry is oversaturated at this point, and groups need to demonstrate something special to capture the attentions of an audience. And I think the boys have that potential. They're phenomenal at what they do, but it's just a matter of elevating their sound and finding an image that suits them before they'll be able to make it big. I'm not advocating for them to completely change their sound, but rather find a way to turn it into something unique to them. I'm going to use Astro as an example to illustrate this. If you showed me Astro's music before 2019, I still think I would have liked their songs, but I wouldn't be very interested in following them as a group, since they followed the standard youthful boyfriend type concept which several other boy groups were doing. However, through songs like All Night and Blue Flame, they took that original image and put a spin on it that made it unique to them. Now there's sort of this sense of class and refinement to their image, which sets them apart from similar groups. I think once the boys are able to find that sort of niche within the industry, they'll be unstoppable, but it's just a matter of figuring out what defines them as a group. The Stealer is a good song, the mini album is good, but the boys are capable of being great. If I could personify songs, La Di Da and La La Li La La would be twin sisters growing up in the 80s. It would be the types of girls you would aspire to be. La La Li La La would be the prom queen, a model student, the perfect daughter. She would be warm and kind with a sense of righteousness and discipline. La Di Da, on the other hand, would be the life of the party, the free spirit, the rebel without a cause. She would be bold and adventurous, and you'd never have a dull moment when you're with her. I think it's fitting that two of the best title tracks of the year serve as sort of a foil to each other within the same genre. La Di Da takes the best elements of Everglow's other songs and infuses them into a retro-influenced party anthem to produce something unlike anything they've ever done before. I did mention I wasn't a fan of Dun Dun because of its predictability, but I know my opinion is one amongst thousands of fans, and I honestly think Everglow would have gotten away with sticking to their formula and still developed a solid fan base. But their company actually seemed to listen to what fans critiqued to give a song that maintained their bold, confident image without relying on their EDM-heavy structure. I'm definitely happy to see all the members shining in this comeback. It felt way more balanced than Dun Dun, when a lot of people were worried that the group would turn into Mia and Friends. While the music video wasn't as grandiose as some of their others, I think it was very fitting for the song. It reminded me of neo-noir-style movies, which revamped that classic noir style of filmmaking using modern technology. It's difficult to pin down an exact definition for these types of movies, but there's sort of this dark, mysterious atmosphere created, especially through the use of lighting. I feel like the members also took on characteristics of femme fatale heroines present within these movies, which was definitely accentuated through their styling. This style of filming serves as a perfect representation as to what the song is about, reviving a genre from the past and turning it into something that resonates with listeners of today by infusing modern pop elements. The mini-album is fantastic as well. I think the title is my favorite song from it, but I also really love No Good Reason. Overall, this comeback definitely cleared my doubts about Everglow, and I'd love to see them branching out like this for more comebacks in the future. That marks the end of all the comebacks I wanted to discuss today, but there are plenty more September releases which I enjoyed listening to, so in case you want some more recommendations, check out the description box. Let me know what some of your favorite comebacks were down below. Thank you for watching.